Hey everyone, so what I have here on the screen is the Devar translation, where this is a verse from the parable of the talents, and this is a verse from the parable of the minas. And notice there's significant differences going on here. Where in the parable of the talents, the slave is told, "Good and faithing slave, you were faithing upon little," where in the parable of the talents, it's good slave. It doesn't say good and faithing. It says, good slave, since you have become faithing in the least. So before becoming something, you're not that thing. So they become faithing in the least, where these are good and faithing upon little. Little, least. So what this is revealing, according to the watch times, is that those who are good and faithing upon little are pre-midnight. They will be down established to be led into entering the wedding feasts, according to the parable of the 10 virgins, where when the door is opened, they're not locked out as foolish. And then those who are into the third watch time are according to the parable of the talents. And you probably don't even recognize these differences if you're reading the King James Bible. Because in Matthew 25:21, the parable of the talents, they translated it, "You were faithful over a few things," when the word here from little should be distinguished from least. Here, least. Least is not little, and little is not least. Least is from the adjective elechistos, where little is from, oligos. So we have oligos, and then we have elechistos, little least. Where then in the parable of the minas in the King James, they translated faithful in very little, when it's least. Where here in the talents, they translated it few things. This is very poor and misleading Bible translating. Again, least is elechistos, and least is not little. Little is oligos, where if you look up these Strong's references, G3641, and you go here to Blue Letter Bible, G3641, it shows you how the King James translates these adjectives, where you notice they just minced the words, few, little, and small. But here again, even the word small is not little or least. Small is yet even a different word. Small, such as found in Matthew 10:42, is mikros, G3398, not G3641, which they've translated 3 different ways. Or probably more than that. Few, little, small, few things, and then almost. So, a while. They translated it a while. What verse did they translate it a while? While. Mark 6:31, where you see how the Devar translates it little. Oligos. Okay? Uprepose a little. So the Devar translation is superior because it does not mince words. It doesn't hide profound differences that we have to recognize between words that are little, least, and small. Faithing upon little, good and faithing upon little, is better than becoming faithing in the least. Where again, when you read these verses in the King James side by side, you have faithful over few things in the talents, But then you have faithful in very little, which could be interpreted opposite, where this is the disadvantage and then this is the advantage, but the way they translated it, few things and then very little, there's no real distinction to be made like there is in the Devar translation, where it's faithing upon little, which is good and faithing, where here it's becoming faithing in the least, where again, to become something means prior to becoming, you weren't that thing, where then you see how they've translated it has been faithful, which is even more misleading because they had to become that way. They weren't faithing in very little. This is deliberate corruption, folks. And why I highly recommend getting the Devar Bible translation, which this is the software application. It's not for sale. It's free. It's available for Mac, PC, and Android, where I will put a link in the comment below to a file share site called HiDrive, which requires a passcode. I'll put the passcode in. And for those of you who are interested, just know that you cannot install the software from HiDrive using your browser. You have to download the files that you want to your devices and then install from your devices. God bless.